Well, again, thank you for coming. This is our 10th meeting, or I think it's our ninth meeting of the year. But as a reminder for those who are not ever able to make these, that we send the meeting minutes and the recording out to a distribution list of roughly 125 Eastside faith and nonprofit stakeholders in the space. So that said, today sent the agenda out this morning, but we are going to go ahead and start with an organizational overview of Lemontree. And John, thank you very much for the introduction to Alma. We had a great conversation, and I know, particularly for specifically some of the folks that I see on this call right now, having an understanding about what y'all do will be extremely beneficial. So I will go ahead and turn it over to you, and I'm going to go ahead and enable sharing permissions as well. So all you.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you, John and Greg, for inviting me today. It's been awesome talking to you guys. And yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about Lemontree here. Let me see if I can share my screen. I don't know. I think here we are. Okay. Are y'all able to see this?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Wonderful. Okay, so again, my name is Alma Medina. I'm an operations manager at Lemontree. At Lemontree, we focus on using technology to connect people with food resources in their local communities. And our mission, honestly, is very close to my heart because growing up in food insecurity myself, I know how important it is to access this kind of support. So yeah, most people are facing hunger and don't have access to the available information out there. And even though there are more food pantries in the United States than there are McDonald's, the lack of awareness and availability to these resources, and honestly, a lot of the information out there is very outdated. So we try to keep it as accurate as possible, and we work really hard at doing that. Lemontree has made it as simple as possible to find the closest, the best resources, and makes it easy for them to get to the resources as well. We have a dedicated research team that works hard to ensure that the information is always accurate by directly contacting and verifying the information with the resources. Since our launch in 2020, we've actually connected over 250,000 households. And as of yesterday, we hit a new milestone for connecting up to, I think it was over 12,000 individuals to essential resources. So it's a very big win for us. And I'm very excited to share that with you guys today. And anyone can access our information. It's out there. We make it easy for people to reach out to us via SMSs. They can text the word food to 90847, or they can navigate our directory. It's on our website. Or they can subscribe to reminders, and they can do this on the website or through the dashboard. This way, they'll receive reminders the day before distribution with the complete details of the resources. And it's very simple to sign up. If they sign up for SMSs, they simply need to visit our website. It's foodhelpline.org, where they just need to register by entering their phone number, listing the resources they're looking to receive information about, their name, and their address. This way, if they decide to sign up with us, they will get text a link to their dashboard, and the dashboard will have all the information that they're requesting. But also on top of that, we have a team of specialists, bilingual specialists, who are available to answer any questions any day of the week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And this is basically what the dashboard looks like. If you see right here, the little purple person is the person's address. The orange dots are the resources they requested. Whenever they sign up for this, they will have access to the information of the resource, such as requirements, offerings, additional information they may need that was provided to us by the resource, hours of operation, the address of the location, contact information. But this section also gives you the ability to sign up for reminders, to submit pictures of the food that you receive, and reviews. And as an added bonus to our callers, if they, for each review and picture that they submit, they'll be entered for a monthly raffle for a $50 gift card to Amazon, which is offering an extra layer of support. Not only do we excel, I'd like to think, do we excel at assisting our clients, but we also build a strong partnership with our resources that we feature on our website, which I know plays a vital role in keeping our information as accurate as possible. So we've made it easy for them to access this information, giving them the option to claim their listing, manage the details directly themselves. And my favorite part of this is that they're able to access the reviews and the pictures that are submitted by our callers, along with the ability to update the information regularly. They can even customize their URL if they would like to. But the way I see this is if the resource has access to this information, it makes it easier for them to also see what everyone who's visiting the pantry has to say about them. If there's areas they would like to improve or if they're excelling in areas, I think it's always nice to have that incentive. And in the chat, I'll be sharing more useful links, our flyer, if you'd like to pass it along, but also with my contact information in case you have any questions. And I just want to thank everyone for your time. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them now, or you can feel free to access you can message me or send me an email anytime. I'm always available.
Could you pull up, or I can do it as well, but just the
Okay.
listing page for Charlotte right now?
Yes. It's up to you if you want me to do it or if you'd like to
Yeah,
do
go
it.
ahead if you don't mind.
Okay.
Because
Sure.
when she was showing this to me a few weeks ago, it was interesting because as it popped up, nearly all of the listings on Lemontree were on the east side, or the bulk of them for food pantries, for I guess there are a lot in Southwest. I didn't see that map component, but you can see that we do have that heavy concentration, but I know it isn't all of them. Because I know there's some folks that are on this call that were also not listed on that. So I think that's for the last piece that Alma was talking about as an organization. If you'd like to get listed on this, I feel like this is a model that's really good, like 211, almost specific just for food. Um, yeah, does it show up if it's
Let me see how many we have. We have 124. The purple dots are the ones that are resources available in Charlotte. So they're kind of hard to see here, but we do have 124 of them.
okay? Yeah, and I think if you zoom in a little bit to the right of the center of the city, that's where we're at. So kind of where it's like 10 and 4 and 9, a little bit above that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can start seeing those dots pop up, I believe.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean the
Yeah.
concept is just it's a very interesting database that I never thought about to any clients or parishioners that you all serve. This is a very good streamlined process as I saw it to get information and support for food insecurity. But I'll
Yeah.
open it
We
up
try
to
to update us.
go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we try to update our information as often as possible. We try to at least visit, every type of resource that we can find on the internet every year. But of course, like again, like if there's a resource that would like to be added to our database, it's super easy. Just access our website and resources, run a resource. You can look up to see if it's possibly in our database. You should be able to enter a name here and find it. But if not, you can always add it here. And it's like a very simple process as well, just entering the information. I'm the one who personally reviews them, or if not, it's our engineer. And yeah, we get this going as quickly as possible to make it available as soon as possible to the public.
Any questions for Alma?
Hey, Alma, good to see you again.
Good to see you,
Um,
John.
Glad to see you're here. I know when we spoke, it's been a little bit, but the way I see the Lemontree being very instrumental for Charlotteans and actual individuals in the community, that it's user friendly from that perspective, and I think it will be helpful from that perspective. Now, there's other platforms that some of you others may have heard of, like Find Help, which is the search engine through
Yes.
through Atrium and Novant, that they're the sponsors of it here. But it's a pretty big search tool. So I was going to ask you, it sounds like you know about it because that would also give you
Yes.
opportunities to know. The other one that is governs through the 2-in-1 system is NC Care 360. So these products are a little bit different in the sense that they're more for like let's say somebody at Alliance Health, for example, a case manager. One of our tailored care managers would be involved with utilizing NC Care 360. So as far as marketing this to the individuals like that are looking themselves, it can be overwhelming because they don't necessarily know. So it sounds like Lemontree has the ability with its friendly interface, so to speak, for folks to find things. So I was just going to say about the those platforms because there can always get a lot of ideas as far as who to reach out to get added to the platform, to your platform.
Yes, and actually findhelp.org has a broad amount of resources aside. We're mostly dedicated to food. So whenever someone does reach out to us about clothing or shelter or whatnot, we always refer them to Find Help. They're a great resource, honestly. I still need to look into NC Care 360 though. I'd like to look and learn more about that.
Yeah, there's something that I just recently found out with NCCare 360 that would be beneficial, and I could put it in the chat, which is a link that gets you directly to this, which it can be, it's like a find help search field, but you don't have to have an account with find help. So I'll put it in the chat if it's okay for everybody.
Awesome.
Please do. Thank you. Any other questions for Alma before we move forward?
What are the requirements for clientele? Or do they have to bring ID? Do they have to bring what kind of proof?
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, to sign up for our services to have access to our database, nothing is necessary. Basically, just your address and phone number, just so we can share the information with you. However, each one of the resources has their own requirements, which we do list on the database. And so whenever they get their link to their dashboard, they'll be able to see the requirements. So if they need to bring proof of address, their ID, or even sometimes like if they need to bring a bag or a cart, we include all of that information for each one of our resources. Also, I just wanted to throw in there that if they need a referral as well, we work with Nourish Up to create that referral and make it available to them. They just need to let us know that they plan to visit one of their resources and we make the appointment for them.
Thank you.
Of course.
I have a question. Speaking of Nourish Up, if we have participants that are using Nourish Up, is there any thing that says that they can't still go through Lemontree, or can they use all these services?
So we tell the first time they reach out to us and we share their information, if there's a Nourish Up location within a 5-mile radius from them and they wish to visit that location, we will create the referral. And I think we allow up to 3 refills for them to visit each time, but we still make all of the other resources available to them. So if they have the option to go to Nourish Up or to go to any of the other ones we have to offer at any time.
Hi, Alma.
Hi.
With the food resources that you have, do any of them provide like fresh vegetables, fruit, meat? Because I know Nourish Up have several, but those pantries are always full.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
and so that gap in between, because you can only do Nourish Up 12 times within a year, right?
Yes, correct.
And so with the high need, people are looking for food more often than that. And here at Galilee, we have it like an emergency food pantry. And to kind of fill that gap with Nourish Up, but we rely on donations too. So we're often running low on our inventory as well. So it's good to know that I'll be able to access that information and share it with clients that come through the door.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing that information. And it's actually hard for us to be able to predict which resources will have what resources available at each time. It's hard to tell. A lot of our callers do reach out to us looking for fresh items, and we always tell them it just depends on what was being donated or what was acquired by each resource, each pantry at any given time. So we don't guarantee that they will have those items, but we do offer them at least 3 different resources the first time they reach out to us. If those don't work for them, we offer them more and more until there's no more to share. But as you can see, we have hundreds of resources in each of our regions. We're actually in 11 regions. So we'll continue offering as many different options as they need in hopes that hopefully they'll find the resource they're looking for specifically.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, thank you so much, Alma. I'm going to, when we send the follow-up with the recording of this
Okay.
meeting, I'll make sure that we include your contact information as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you,
for
everyone.
coming.
Of course.
Alrighty, y'all. So our next item, and for whatever reason, I just kind of closed out of my browser, but I will say I received an email last night from Reverend Ladane Pulaski, who is the executive director of MecMin, who used to run these Eastside specific meetings before she handed the baton off to us. She has been working pretty diligently with some disaster relief efforts as it relates to Western North Carolina and Hurricane Helene. She sent me, let me share it. Now I've got it back up. There is a coordinated response effort. I know there are a lot of these, but I trust Ladane's vision on this and her connections with this, and I'm sure some of you have been involved in this as well. But the North Carolina Voluntary Organization is active in disaster, so looks like every day or every other day there is a spreadsheet that is being updated, and if you want to get put on this, I'll make the connection between you and Ladane because I believe she's one of the point people that's involved with this. But it's up to date daily or every other day asks and offers, right? So these are organizations that are on the ground in touch point with community development organizations on the ground up in Western North Carolina that are being able to update specifically what do we need right now, right? And then organizations coming in on the other end, what can we give right now? So you can see I took a screenshot of the spreadsheet from 2 days ago, and you can see the offers: Project Hope supplying hygiene kits, installing microgrids. So it's kind of, again, like a message board or a forum for where folks that are truly plugged in can get up to date and specific asks and supports. And let me show you today's most recent. Let me switch gears really quickly to this one, I believe. Yes. Okay, so you can see today the asks haven't been updated, but on the 7th you can see there was quite a few with organizational contacts. It's subcategorized. There are point people. There's a need with warehouse management experience, Starlinks for a specific geography, specific donations for a specific place. So if you would like to be, I know, especially for me and like with Charlotte, he's been trying to figure out, like, right, aside from supporting other donations and drop-offs, how to get involved and how to get plugged in. I feel like this would be a really good spot to do it if your organizations or yourselves are interested. So please just send me a message offline, or you can send me a message right now if you would like to be plugged into that. And I'm sure Ladane will make that happen. I think we just received 2. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat really quickly. Okay, let me go ahead and move on to Deanna. Are you good to go?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everyone.
D-Mart. You are next on the agenda. If you would like to discuss a bit about your Latinx Impacto classes coming up.
Yes, thank you. So hello everyone. Thank you all for being here today. So my name is Diana Martinez, also part of the Charlotte East Board. And I wanted to share an opportunity here today for youth ages 11 to 18, as well as their parents. This is a free photography program for youth ages 11 to 18, and we'll be meeting every Friday at Galilee Ministries to have a program. What is this program, you may ask? So the Alianza Coalition is part of the Center for Prevention Services, and we focus on all things substance misuse prevention. So in this program, youth will learn how to do photography as well as using a camera, which we provide, while also learning about substance misuse prevention and how companies market different drugs to young people and such. And at the end, we have like this huge gallery celebration with catering, and we open it to the public, and it's really nice and really cool. Everything is provided for. The parents don't have to worry about anything other than signing a responsibility contract with the camera. But that's about it. And we are going to be meeting every Friday, starting this Friday, at Galilee Ministries. So if you have any questions, please reach out. My contact information is at the bottom of the flyer that you see here. And we're still looking for youth to sign up. So please share with any contacts you may have, any kids, any parents, or any church leaders that you may know who have contact with parents, or any community members, really. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, just let me know.
How many more spaces do you have, Deanna?
We were aiming for about 15 kids. We have plenty. I think we might have about 8 or 9 spaces if I had to guess at the moment. I haven't checked the registration today, but from last time I checked, probably around 8 or 9 spaces.
Okay.
Yeah, so please share with everyone. If anybody has any questions about the program itself, let me know. We'll be having 2 cohorts this year. The first cohort will be from October to February. No, just kidding. February to March, I believe, and then March to June will be the second cohort. So it's about 16 weeks per cohort, and parents will be involved in parenting classes and groups once or twice a month, but the kids will come once a week.
Okay. Okay. Just let me know, because I'm assuming if you don't hit capacity by Friday that you'll continue to enroll.
Yes, we will. Yeah, we'll continue enrolling if we don't hit our capacity, hopefully by the next 2 weeks.
Will you let me know by Friday or whenever? Just let me, not by Friday, but just let me know what your capacity ends up being. And then
Okay, sounds good.
we can make more concerted and targeted efforts to specific schools to push like very intentionally through different channels.
Sounds good. Thank you. I'll definitely appreciate that.
Thank you, Deanna. All right, well, and I guess this like ties in somewhat, but not all the way. So Charlotte East now, we do a lot of different supports with our specific 5 partner schools. Like in our geographic footprint, we have 14 schools, but we're scaling our supports to hopefully be able to support all 14 in the same way by 2027. But right now we partner with Charlotte East Language Academy, Mary Oaks International Academy, Winterfield Elementary, Eastway Middle, and Garinger High. So one of the things that we do with these schools is we hold a quarterly principal cohort. So it's a very informal, no stress, no supervisor type space where the principals can get together because they don't have the opportunity to do it anymore via CMS, but just to talk about shared neighborhood issues, supports and resources that are specifically needed. They have a different lens on the ground, being that they work with hundreds of families every single day. The biggest thing, and it was very interesting to me because I know our community, there are different spaces where ESL courses are offered, and I know different organizations do ESL classes. But the big request, and it was shared among all 5 schools, was can we start looking, and it doesn't have to be, at the top of the year, it could be like March or whatever, but is there a partner available in the space who can do rotating ESL classes for parents at this individual schools? So think about, like rotating odd hours, right? So like, let's say at the elementary school at Winterfield, there might be the opportunity to do a 2-month course. And then the next period, you move it over to Eastway Middle. But even as Charlotte East, as we look at how we reach our residents on the east side, we're moving even further into a more place-based model, setting up events in apartment communities and complexes. The principals are demonstrating, or excuse me, they're vocalizing that the need is there to be more intentional at the school. They need place-based supports to meet the parents when they're picking up their kids, or like within an hour of pickup or an hour of drop off, folks being able to come in and do language support services. So I wanted to lift that here first, but I'm going to send it out again via the follow-up that will accompany this. Because if folks don't know, if somebody off the bat, if it could get the gears turning, because I know CPCC used to do extensive ESL courses hosted at Galilee, and I know that doesn't happen anymore. I think, Deanna, does the coalition still hold ESL classes? Do you know?
For the Latin American Coalition, I'm honestly not 100% sure. I haven't heard much news from there, other than CPCC, that I've heard at the moment. And there's one other one, but let me look really quick what it was called.
Okay, that's fine. You can just shoot it to me too. That's no problem. But I thought it was just very interesting because these schools, all of these schools here, are 60% plus of the student population is Hispanic. Some of them are 90% plus, like Winterfield, Mary Oaks, and Charlotte East Language Academy is actually 80% plus. I think there are 16 different Spanish-speaking countries represented with 80% of the student body speaking Spanish. So there is a dire need, especially when you look at how do we engage our families more, particularly at the elementary school level. The schools say we want to be able to offer our parents something here that they don't have to go elsewhere to do, because it'll strengthen their bonds in the school, so forth and so forth. So if you know, aside from CPCC, of any other organizations that are specifically doing this work or getting place-based funding to do this, please let me know. Reach out. Right, I believe we have our friend from the museum and East Side resident, Nolan Dom. I'll pass it over to you, sir.
Everyone, I'm Nolan. I am an East Side resident. I live over in the Oak Forest neighborhood, pretty close to the museum here. What I'm here to talk about is nothing nearly as important as anybody that came before me, but I just want to keep everybody updated on what we're doing here at the museum. First of all, we next Saturday we have a little birthday party for the historic rock house here on our campus. What's really special about that is this year is its 250th anniversary of its construction. If you didn't know, it's the oldest house in Mecklenburg County, and we're the stewards of it here at the museum. So feel free to stop by and check that out. But in general, we've just got a lot of big stuff coming up here at the museum. The rock house itself, we just received almost $450,000 from the National Park Service to restore that house. So we're going to be doing a lot of work on it over the next year or so to make sure that it sticks around for another 250 years. In terms of other things that you might be interested in, we also just got a grant from ASC ASC. Basically, pretty much every Thursday evening through the end of the year, we will be offering some kind of free programming here at the museum, and the museum will be open for free. So, I know that we do have to charge admission usually, just because we're a really small museum and we don't get a lot of funding from local government, but we are able to offer programming every Thursday for free. You can come check it out. We do everything from historic pottery classes to highlights from our collections. Sometimes we'll do a little trivia, beer and wine night, something fun like that as well. So feel free to share that around. And then last, just on a bigger picture, I just want all of y'all to know all of y'all I know are representatives of awesome nonprofits that are serving the East Side. we just want y'all to know that we are really trying to become a, neighborhood-based, community-based museum, in terms of our programming, in terms of the exhibits that we're offering. So if you ever are looking for a space to do a program, if you're looking for somebody from the museum to come talk at an event that you're doing, we've got a lot of historians on staff who are willing to have conversations about, inequality in our communities, have conversations about what's going on here in East Charlotte. And we're happy to do that. And then, yeah, I mean, we just want to know what's going on in the community and be a part of the community. So, I'm happy to share my contact info, happy to keep y'all updated on what we're doing here. So again, I know it's a little less important than the rest of the stuff, but I just want to let y'all know that we're here and we're trying to keep moving forward and keep representing y'all here on the East Side. So thanks, y'all.
Hey man, not less important at all. I'm going to tell you that the work that the museum has been doing, if y'all haven't been paying attention over the last, like 2 years or so, talk about a community anchor, in terms of both educational opportunities, being a publicly accessible space, but also some of the events that they're bringing in has been a game changer in traffic and types of folks that are being brought in. Because Nolan, for the African American Heritage Festival, I'm totally putting you on the spot, and this is such a random number, but it was like, what was the percentage of folks that were like indicated that they were not coming from within Mecklenburg County? I don't know if you have that like on a general, maybe it was Terry who's talking about it, but it seemed like the overwhelming number of folks from one of the specific events. I don't know if it was the African American Heritage Festival or if it was the Mad About Modern tour last year, but it was like, these were folks from outside of the region, which is great. Which the point I'm getting at is that's great because the museum has really been a driver for East Charlotte of getting folks here as a destination that otherwise would not be coming to the East Side.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but that is definitely something that we notice and that we make a concerted effort to do, which is that, the museums that are in Uptown, they generally get that kind of automatic foot traffic. Like if you are in Uptown, you walk by the Levine or the Beckler and you think, oh, let me stop by, right? But for us, we really have to rely on our programming to get people to come to our museum. And so, to your point, we do the African American Heritage Festival. We got like 1,100 people at that last year. We just did last Saturday a Hispanic Heritage Celebration, which frankly, we were competing with the big, huge one Uptown, but we still had almost 400 people come to that one as well. So, you're exactly right. We get people from all over the world, honestly, that come to our museum. But, honestly, really my goal as the director of interpretation and all of the stuff that we do here at the museum is that what I'm trying to do is sort of swing us back the other way. Is I really do want us to be a place that East Charlotte residents can feel like they can come to for resources if they're wondering, everything from the basics of what is Charlotte's history to more specific stuff of why is my road named what it's named? Who is that guy my street is named after? Everything like that. We hope that people can understand that we're here for them. We're going to continue to do community-based exhibits and community-based programming as well. So, we're kind of trying to do it all. We're a small staff here, but appreciate the kind words, Greg.
No, appreciate y'all. You guys are making it happen, and totally not germane to this specific conversation, but the Mad About Modern tour, it got rescheduled to when? When are y'all doing it?
Interestingly, that's also next Saturday. So next Saturday, the 19th, is our Rock House birthday party here. And it's also the Mad About Modern Home Tour, which is a tour of, I believe this year there's 4 different mid-century modern homes around Charlotte. Since we had to reschedule it due to the big storms that came through, if you get a ticket to Mad About Modern, that also will include your admission to the museum to see the Rock House and all of that. So basically, in a way, we've just added the Rock House onto the Mad About Modern tour. But there'll be cake, there'll be all sorts of crafts for kids, there'll be obviously tours of the Rock House, and it'll just be a good day to, if you like looking at old houses and cool houses, next Saturday is your day.
What's the time for that event?
Mad About Modern tour starts at 10 and our event here at the museum will start at 11.
Okay.
And then it's through like 4 p.m. ish.
Perfect. So I'm gonna make a total plug for what everybody needs to do next Saturday, and they do not need to leave Shamrock to do it. So go to the museum, go to the anniversary celebration. Go get something to eat, crispy banh mi or Lang Van right down the block on Shamrock. Our Bridge for Kids is hosting its annual, this will be its 11th annual International Cultural Festival, which is right next to the Museum of History on Shamrock, from 3 p.m. to 7. And I'll send the flyer out as well, but they have a petting zoo. I mean, they usually have like 600 people come. And it's just on their lot right there at the intersection of Willard Farrow and Shamrock. So right there on Aldersgate's campus, but they do a phenomenal job of making this an incredible experience. I think they're funded this year by the ASC grants. So anyway, Nolan, if I'll kind of package these things together, because I think that would be we just need to, as a community, I think, and as Charlotte East, we need to show off a lot more about what's happening on Shamrock specifically, and you guys are really the anchor there. So thank you.
Thanks.
So I muted myself. Nimish, I'm sorry. I just saw your initial request. So Nimish, can you speak, or do you want me to rephrase it?
So thanks for checking that, Greg, and thanks to everybody for your time that you allow me. But East Charlotte have lots of seniors who are isolated in their own homes, suffering due to loneliness, anxiety, depression, you know, all that. So I don't have to repeat, but those ethnic groups have to meet somewhere because they will live better, the lifestyle will change. At least there is some hope for them to live and enjoy life. So for that, adult daycares gearing towards ethnicity is the key. And me and Greg, we keep talking about community centers, things like that. But this can also be a very strong job creating opportunity. So I want everybody to see this from a different angle. If someone can allow or help us to do one seminar of how to apply for adult daycare, and if we can find a location where we all could rent it or make it or get license for, we have people who would like to start and serve their own seniors. This is big opportunity for us to keep Charlotte East on the top of everything, but it's also a challenge that future is going to hit very fast. People are turning 65 every day, 10,000. So think about it. And many people are moving out of other state to Charlotte because of the weather and conditions. So sorry to take so much time, but that's why I'm asking some help.
Understood. You did not take up any time, Nimish. So what I'm gonna do, I'm trying to take a screenshot of this so I can include it in my email. I will put that request out as well to the broader list about folks who can support with that license for adult daycare. But I want to follow up to you right now on this call, but also to the broader audience as it is germane. I'm working very, very closely with the development team behind the Eastland Sports Complex, the 120,000 square foot facility that's going to be the economic driver for Eastland. Today we had a pretty lengthy meeting to figure out how we are going to utilize we're essentially we carved out in the design of the facility a 3,000 square foot space for community use and meetings. We're in the process of developing how that governance structure is going to look, how that relationship is going to look like between the for-profit side and the nonprofit side. But concept being point being in I would say mid to late 2026, we will have a 3,000 square foot community center on the Eastland campus that will be available to partners to use for programming that don't otherwise have space or that want to hit a different audience. at a reduced cost, because the model of the nonprofit that will govern it is really just going to be to acquire funds to subsidize rental and lease for folks who might not necessarily be able to pay commercial real estate prices or co-working prices, or might not need something permanent to rent. But we're about a year out from really identifying some initial partners for 2027. But Nimish, I wanted to follow up because I know we talked about that yesterday, but we are in good shape with that. It's just going to take, takes a little time. We got to get the fundraising under the belt there to ensure that the facility has enough funds to like be able to do that for the first year of operations. But Eastland, point being to everybody on this call, there will be a community space that's accessible at Eastland. So think about, similar to what the Eastway Regional Rec Center is doing with some of its community spaces, it's going to be very similar to that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yes, no, thank you. Thank you for staying on me about it.
Can we as a large organization which has 84, 87 countries represented, can we go to NCDHHS, which is the department that governs the license, to at least send somebody from our tax dollars to educate us how to get license? What are the areas that we have to cover? At least this education should be provided, because that's what their job is, and they are not doing their job. We go to their departments, they push us out and say, find a counselor or find somebody contractor to help you do it. And we have to spend, non-profit don't have this kind of money. So I'm just begging that, is there a way we can communicate with North Carolina Department of Health and Human Service to send an expert one time, only one time, to just walk us through the process and tell us you need X, Y, and Z. And it might be very simple thing to get it, but they make it so hard. And even the local DSS does not allow, they say it's all done from Raleigh, so you have to go there. So please, if there is a way, please, I'm begging. Thank you.
And Greg, I can, I wrote down Nimish's number in my phone. I can kind of help with that as well. I can tap into some county resources and see if there's a backdoor way we can get into some stuff and get some recommendations, because it is a lot of work.
Thank you so much.
With the county trying to circumvent, but if you know somebody, that it makes a difference when you know somebody. So I can tap into some of our resources that we use and see what we can do to get this going.
That'd be
Thank
wonderful. Venetia, I think you would be a awesome person to connect with Nimish on this. So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Greg,
Alrighty, yeah, go ahead. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Maureen. I'm sorry.
I just want to put out a notice about the area plan, the East area plan. So kind of in combination what you're talking about with Shamrock and our Eastland and all the areas around that are so great within the East community. There will be a city planning meeting. It'll be virtual. You can attend on the 15th. It's at 11 a.m. Or you can go on the 17th, which is at Elders Gate in person. It's a drop-in from 5 to 7. And we really need people to come in and talk about, what's missing, what's good, what needs more consideration, so that those of us on the ground that live here and know what's needed can give their input and not just have a plan that's rolled out from an office downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will send that, I'll send that flyer in the follow-up, because I have the...
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, wonderful. All right, y'all. Well, thank you all very much for joining. I will shoot a follow out by Friday, and you all have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. You as
Bye,
well.
everyone.